Hello, welcome back. It's been about 1.5 years since my last technology related video. You know, the one with the ignition coil being driven by the relay. And I posted a few little random animal videos, that laser from the old MIT open house back in 2011. Just an old clip I had sitting around on my hard drive. So, what's going on? How come I haven't posted anything new? I am now, and have been for the past year, for my full-time job, a high-voltage test engineer at a company that makes parts that go into the power grid. Make and sell such parts. So that is my job. Since I went back to college, took classes, and applied my time, energy, and knowledge, I changed careers from software to high voltage electrical engineering, essentially. Granted, it's only really the passive elements that we work with, mostly capacitors, inductors only in the form of the electrical transformers in there. And yeah, it's a good job. And I even made a 220 kilovolt chopped lightning impulse test the other day. It's a really cool place. It's a full Faraday cage, huge lab from the physical size, especially since the arcing distance to the walls of the cage have to be such that if there is an arc, you don't want it to go to the wall and such. So I could go on and on about it. I've had lots and lots of training. I have a lot more knowledge now and practical hands-on experience with high voltage than I did in my previous videos on this channel and my other older channel from when YouTube was relatively new. So that's mostly what I've been up to. I've been working. Haven't had a lot of time for videos. So I do still have time to go to the MIT flea market now and then. It's now, of course, December 30th, 2018. This is also a little recap on year in review. What's been happening? Yeah, so that the next MIT flea market is on April 21st. I got the flyer here. So if you want to go to the next MIT flea, go ahead. Their website is down here. I think swapfest.us, as you see here. So yeah, lots of cool stuff, from vacuum tubes to laptops, all sorts, everything techie, geeky, Star Wars. There was an old 80s Starscream new in box. Someone wanted $50 for it. That was a couple years ago. You never know what you're gonna find. The little Nintendo, the NES original game system, first introduced into the United States from the Japanese Famicom. They had somebody brought a couple of the little robots there that, you know, they could spin a little top, like almost like a gyroscopic action thing. You probably remember the old commercials. Yeah. So I also got an Xbox, so I've been doing that a bit on sometimes when I'm home from work or just you know, tired from the commute and I just want to chill out before I pack my lunch and go to work again the next day. You know how it is, those of you in the working world. So another thing that I do want to address and is important to me, something that I realized going back to school for this electronics technology certificate, which I've earned, I did for a few weeks kind of retake Calculus 1 and realized that, okay, yes, it's been a long time since I did algebra. This is going back the fall of 2015. So this is more than 3 years ago now. That, I realized that we were brought up in a society where when you are going to do mathematics, you should know how to do it in your head and on pen and paper, or preferably pencil and paper, so you can erase your mistakes, instead of just crossing out and filling up pages. I could go on about that, but I won't. Anyways, getting on to math education. In these days, everyone really does have a calculator, a cell phone, in their pocket. This is true. There are millions upon millions of phones out there, and people buy them and they own them. And if the phone's not available, you're not that far away from a laptop or desktop computer. The whole mindset of thinking, well, you better know how to do it by hand. UMass Lowell, they do not allow calculators in the mathematics department when taking tests. But the calculators are allowed in the electrical engineering department, literally across the street, when you take a test. That is crazy. That is insane. Of course, they don't allow cell phones, because who's to stop you from getting on Wi-Fi to just Google an answer or go to Wolfram Alpha and calculating the answer online or through their app. So anyways, getting back to my main point, the best way to learn math is to learn how to program a computer or a cell phone app to write a function that performs a specific mathematical concept for you, whether it's just crunching numbers, like for example a linear function versus an x squared function, logarithmic functions, so on and so forth. So, how I think people, as the 21st century continues here, we're well into it, it's almost 2019 in like 2 days. The best thing to have kids start doing is to, at an early age, introduce them to computer programming as they're learning mathematics, and have them write down and be able to write the numbers on paper like they do classically, and then show them up on the screen, which you would think most schools these days would have computers in the classroom, screens, projectors, etc. Show them how a function would work to perform this, have your fields for inputting your numbers or simply inputting your equation, and start with the most basic simple concepts of, say, first, remember, always start counting at 0. Show them what an array is. An array starts with a 0th slot, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, while you're at 0, instead of just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's how many fingers you're holding up. But what we should really do is we start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, that's still 10 fingers, but it's counting with a 0 base. That's how computers work. We're surrounded by this technology that counts in 0 base all the time. So, okay, another point is that as you teach the kids how to write the software, which they can then put onto their phone or their school laptop computer, then that they can take home with them, is how to verify also that their function that they wrote and coded is giving them the correct result back. So it's not just writing a computer to be, okay, how do you do this? Alright, let me go ahead and tell the computer how to do this. Okay, the computer knows how, I don't have to remember how anymore. No. We don't want them to be lazy and just be able to understand that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of concepts in mathematics that are so difficult to remember all of them. It takes a very special type of person to be a real mathematician. Just let the computer be there and do math so that the average person, even the slightly above average person maybe, can have the computer as their helper to remind them of their concepts. Say when they get into algebra and they have to solve for x, and dear algebra, I don't know who your x is, please stop asking me to find her. Math joke. Anyways, I think you get the idea now. Write some code. Okay, there is your function. You can enter input, you press a button, you get the output, and because you've practiced and you've told the computer how to calculate the input, how to get the output right, whether it's positive, negative, solving for a variable, or just multiple functions, correct order of operations, which is of course PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, from left to right in the order they appear. And then once all that code is there and all the functions are written and the kid has, even if it's like say a JavaScript, an HTML library that they have now created, teach them to be a master of their own calculation software. And that will give them a skill that will apply as they enter a world where any job except maybe digging in a ditch, the lay new pipe for conduit or water lines, etc., you probably still have to enter some time card or punch in your name and number, or at the end of the year file your taxes, probably online. We're in a world where it's inevitable that you're going to use a computer. You are going to understand that you need to know a little bit about technology. That's why Techno-Wizard is a reference to someone who is a technological master of being able to think and create your code or find this technology and use and apply it to solve your everyday needs. You all can be techno-wizards like me, I hope, if you apply yourself. Getting back to the MIT flea market, I do have a proper oscilloscope now. It's a Tektronix. I got it on a stand. It is a solid state. My old one has still vacuum tubes inside of it, the one that you saw in my previous videos years back now. And after like an hour of operation, the tubes need to cool down. So once I get my electronics workbench accessible, hopefully I'll get to show you guys this Tektronix scope. I'm still interested in Tesla coils, and I also picked up a crystal radio kit to put together with a germanium diode. And yes, I am interested in, say, creating some very simple electromagnets and just verifying with, say, a Hall effect sensor. Okay, this is the North Pole when it's wound this way, and if I change the polarity, is it now a South Pole, depending which way the current flows, etc. And the old right-hand rule, current direction, and this is the way your magnetic field is flowing. It's just kind of a tangible reminder of some of those very basic fundamentals of how electromagnets work. And if we have a South Pole, is that positive? And we have the North Pole, is that negative, the N for North? Or is it North is positive and South is negative? Compare that to the positive and negative terminals of a voltage source. And the conventional current flow is we follow from positive as the source, and it flows around to the negative terminal. Compare that to a magnet, a vortex field of a magnet spinning. When you're looking at, is north considered positive going down to the south, or is the south considered going up? Are we following the electron path from the south, or the negative to the north, following the whole path as the holes appear from positive down to south. You know, that kind of stuff. Some stuff that you don't even think about. You just read it in the book and you say, yeah, okay, smile and nod. Cool, that's what it is next. I am of the mind where I think a little more tangible evidence helps to bring a greater understanding of such concepts. At least that's how I think my mind works. And part of why I've, in the past, used to struggle with math a lot. Now I get paid to do some analysis of mathematics, is that I want more proof. I want more time with it. And nowadays I can make like an Excel sheet to go, okay, for this function, for these values, what is the range of values? What does that look like graphed out? Either pure linear, logarithmic, semi-log, etc. Anyways, I do hope to get some more videos up in the new year, in 2019. I wish all of you folks out there, all 214 subscribers, a very happy new year. And I'll tell you what, we have 214 subscribers at the time of this posting. If we get to 250, I'll go ahead and do something special. I haven't thought about what just yet. Maybe I'll have a giveaway. Maybe I'll send someone a postcard or something. I'll have to see what I can do. Perhaps I'll build an actual complete Tesla coil again and do a 250 subscriber special and a 300 subscriber special with an even bigger coil, or maybe I got parts for a Van de Graaff generator. Well, basically on a motorized manner, power itself with the spinning cylinders, you know, the old Magnus effect, creating lift and a downward flow, and on it as you have for flying a kite, you know, and you'd be on the string. So here's a day with no wind, but you can still fly something around. So I got lots of ideas, as you see, and I do want to get something up online on this channel to share with you, to enjoy the application of our minds to our making a plan for a project and calculating and then building something really cool and sharing that and sharing the joy that we have from bringing thought into reality. So, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.